Good morning. Good Shabbos. This is a very auspicious Torah portion. It's called Yitro. Yitro is the name of Moses' father-in-law, his wife's father, who comes to visit them in the camp. He's heard about all the signs and wonders and the parting of the sea and how they got across, and he wants to come and honor his son-in-law. But the main event in Jewish history, Jewish religious history, is the giving of the Ten Commandments. So the commentary says that by now the people have unified and gotten over their complaining. Of course, their needs have been answered. They've been given water. They've been given food, the manna. And they know something special is going to happen at Sinai, Mount Sinai. So they are ready and unified. And they gather at the mountain. They're not allowed to touch it because it'll be too holy. And they have, special preparations to make ahead of time. So they see thunder and they hear the lightning. Like the senses are all. It's not logical. They're in a state of beyond logic, beyond the normal senses. And something special happens. They hear the essence of God's words. We have in the Torah, we read in this Chumash, is called the Chumash, means the first 5 books of the Bible, first 5 books of the 5 books called Moses. We have it here, the first sentence, which I'm going to read, and pay special attention to the first word. The first word is Anochi, which means I in Egyptian, not in Hebrew, Egyptian. And this is the language that the Jews knew, the Hebrews knew in Egypt. It's the familiar language. And it's interpreted as God being intimate. I'm just like you. You're just like me. I, Anochi. And then the next word is Yud-Hey and Vav-Hey, the unpronounceable 4 letters of the divine name that has been introduced at the burning bush. And we see it before in the previous books of the Torah, but God says, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did not know me by this name, Yud-Hey and Vav-Hey. It's formally introduced at the burning bush. I think that's right. I should check on that, because when Moses says, "Who should I say called and sent me?" He says, I will be. I am that I am," which is very similar. But at some point, he tells Moses, "They didn't know me as this." And I think it's there. So Anochi Yud-Hey and Vav-Hey. Elokecha, your God, and this is in the singular. And since the commentary says that the Jewish people are like one, it's in the singular, addressing the whole people like the singular. There are other places where it says Elohechem, their God, or your God, in plural. But Elokecha is your singular, your individual, your personal God. Asher etzeti etzim. Asher hu, Asher, Hotzeiticha. There's that same ending. Ha, Elohecha, Etzotecha. That means you, personal. So I'm the one who has taken you out. Hotzeiticha. eretz mitzrayim, from the land, eretz mitzrayim of Egypt. It's called Egypt, but the name Egypt is narrow. Maybe it's because of the Nile going through Egypt and the two sides. This mitzrayim is a double. Means two, plural, but just specifically two, the dual aspect of the narrows, and it could be the two sides of the river. That's Egypt is identified with the Nile, right? So, but this is the narrow places in us. It's interpreted as the narrow places in us. So I've taken you personally out of Mitzrayim, this narrow place, bayt avadim, from the house of bondage. So the first two words, Anochi Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey, I am this divine unfolding. And Anochi, just like you, the I that you would say for you. So we know from other teachings that there's nothing but God. In the daily prayers, there's something in the Elena which is said in all three of the prayers every day. So that's 3 times a day, times 7, 21 times a week. We say this. This is part of the Elenu. Upon us, it's incumbent to praise God. Ephes zulato, 0. Ephes is 0. There is nothing bilato besides Him or besides God. Ephes, nothing. Which means we are part of God. We are inseparable from God, just like the cells in our skin or inside our body. The blood cells are part of this particular corpus, this particular body, so this particular body is part of God. God is everything. We're breathing in, all the creatures, all the land creatures are breathing in the same air. We're one fabric, right? Walking on this land, one land on this earth, and this is only part of the universe. But anyway, I'm going to get carried away. Anyway, so we are, just to try to take that in, we are an expression of God. We are a manifestation of God. Our lives don't belong to us. They are part of this divine immensity, just like the wave is part of the ocean, and maybe the wave thinks, oh, I'm a big wave, I'm going to crash. But really, then it goes back in, dissolves back into the ocean. But it's always been just water. It's just water. Wave is water. We are God. We are. And especially when we can let God take us, get this awareness of being part of God, take us out of this narrow identification, the mitzrayim, the narrow identification that we are separate, individually separate from each other and from all that is good. We are separate, but we're not separate. God is taking us out by becoming aware of who we really are. We're not in mitzrayim anymore. So just the whole sentence is one in itself. And even those first two words could be one sentence. Anochi, Yud-Hey, and Vav-Hey. Or I am divine manifesting through you. So that's a lot to take in. And I struggled with it all night. I was kind of just like the Israelites waiting to receive the Torah the next day. I was trying to just internalize this all night long, and so it's not easy, but it breaks through. Sometimes it breaks through, and our technique, following the breath, even just using these first two words, take a breath in, and on the out breath, Anochi, or I am. Take a breath in, and on the out breath, Anochi, I am. And the next breath is, it could be in English, I am. It could be the in-breath, divine manifesting. Divine manifesting. Or just a breath in, Anochi, I exist in this expanse, in this infinite, holy and loving atmosphere that we breathe in. It says in the Bereshit, God breathed into our nostrils and continues to this day. So, watch the mind. It will go astray. It may go astray. Just watch that energy pattern. And then notice when it goes away and comes back to just openness, breathing in, breathing out. Anochi, Yud-Hey and Vav-Hey. Yud-Hey on the in-breath, Vav-Hey on the out-breath. Breath in, on the out-breath, Anochi. Breathe in, Yud-Hey. Breathe out, Vav-Hey. You can do that for a while. And then you can just be Anochi and breathing in and out. And relax into the breath and let it take you out of the narrow places that we all hold inside. Let the breathing, let the Yud-Hey and the Vav-Hey, the divine presence, release you from the house of bondage, bayt, avadim. Let the divine presence release you into freedom. I'll ring the bell, and again 30 minutes after.
Jump at it. Can't catch it. Kitty, you're funny. Funny. What are you doing?
Welcome back. So between those two bells, if you're watching or using this recording after the live sit, the intention is for you to pause the recording and take 30 minutes or however long you feel you need in silence, and then resume the recording, and then you'll hear the second bell. So if you didn't do that already, you can go ahead and pause, and then when you resume, you'll hear me with my closing remarks, which I'm going to do now. um, it's not easy letting go of the notion of being a separate self and just merging with the divine. And I guess it is really grace when you can become quiet enough, then the mind can actually relax. We train it. We train ourselves through focusing on the breath. Every aspect of the breath in, all the way in and all the way out. Breathe. Focus how it feels going into the lungs, how the stomach feels being breathed, how the nose notices the breath coming in cold and going out warm. All these different ways to get out of the brain, out of the brain. I mean, the brain gives us instructions, but then to let go and let the brain relax, take a break. So I found it challenging today. At the end, I was sort of zoning into the bigger, and I noticed, and I had this image of my environment covered with snow like it was a week ago, or almost a week ago. Last Sunday we had all that snow. And it's so serene when it's all white, all covered. All the same color, the white color. It kind of reminds me of this, like all part of the divine, the distinctions, the separations blur into one. And it's all vibrating, and we know it's true. And we're created, with free choice and a mind that has a mind of its own, habitual mind. So we need the scriptures to remind us that God is in us, with us at all times. And when we connect to that higher or broader or bigger sense of self, we do experience coming out of the narrow place. Eretz mitzrayim, from the land of the narrows. Bayt, avadim, from the house of bondage. So I wish you success in these endeavors. Don't give up. Grace comes unexpectedly. Just remember, you're not alone. We're all part. We're all part of the divine, and each of us has our own manifestation of the divine, and this is our calling, to be the best embodiment, this embodiment of the divine, to be the best that we can in what we have been given in this life. So with that, I'll send you blessings and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining me.